Hi, thank you for joining me today. This is Zoe Tant at stampingscene.blogspot.com, and what I've got to show you today is a milk carton holder with a cheats way using a 2468 box of putting the cartons in there rather than actual milk cartons. So it's a little bit quicker and simpler to make, and I hope you like it and find it useful. You need to start off with to make the small 2468 boxes, and you'll need 4 of them. So you'll want 4 pieces of card that are 5 inches by 8 1/4 inches and 12 centimetres by 21 centimetres. If you take it on the portrait first of all and score at either 5 centimetres or 2 inches all the way down, and that'll this part will form the base of your box. Then putting it in on the landscape, score every 2 inches or 5 centimetres. So that's 2, 4 and 6 on and 8 on the inches side, and 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay, then with a pair of scissors, or you can use your trimmer, whichever you find easiest, you need to trim out that little extra piece there. I'm going to just put a little tab snip there and snip up and up. So cutting from the bottom with the horizontal score line going across. You can just see it, I think, on there. So I've cut each one like so, and then I'm just going to cut the other tab end of this like that. Get rid of those bits, so those for later. And then you want to score all of these little pieces. It helps if you use a bone folder because it just makes them that much crisper, and they'll fold better. Then we want some Terran tape. I forgot what that was for a moment. And you're just going to pop a piece on there. Okay, and peel that off. And the easiest way to do this is to fold the top one down, and the piece with the tape on down first, and then the top one, bring it down on top of it, and do it while it's flat, and then you're not fiddling about in the air. Then because it's Terran tape, it's easy to pull off a couple of pieces. Just snap them off with your fingers, and I found that if I find the seam and put that facing me, then I can basically stick both sides in, left and right, and the back, and then fold this piece backwards, which means that's the piece that needs my tape on. Now if you want to be a little bit more meticulous and doesn't want to play, stuck on my finger, meticulous, and stick tape on each piece, then obviously you can, and I would suggest that you do that before you stick the side together in the first place. Just peel those off. That comes down, and it looks like an open-ended little tube box. And then all you need to do to make the carton side of things is just squeeze it together like so. And then if we take, these are nice library clips that we have at Stampin Up, and they're in the current catalogue and coming into the new one for 2018, 2019. They just squeeze together, and it's a great way to hold them closed. You'll see some that I've done. This is one that I've done for the actual project, and you can put a little bit of ribbon on, or as you can see, I've done them in 2 colours. I'm undecided as to which I prefer at the moment. Maybe you'll let me know whether I should stamp it in Mossy Meadow or black. And then on this one I've put a faceted gem, which just makes it a little slightly different, probably a little bit more elegant than the bow maybe, but it depends on what your project's for. The next step is to make the base, which is a box for the carton holder. You'll need a piece of cardstock that is 7 1/4 inches square or 18.4 centimetres square. Then you need to score on each side at 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimetres, and then cut to make it the box, as you can see that I've done here. I've just left this last one, and if you trim that up to the score line and take off these little extra pieces to help it sit better, take those out the way, and then these will all peel off having folded the lines. I'll just do the one to show you, and they come up like so, they'll all stick in and make a box. Pop that to one side. The next thing is to pop a handle in, and you'll need a piece that is 4 3/16 inches by 12 inches, or 10.5 centimetres by 30.5 centimetres. This you need to score then in the middle at 6 inches or 15.3 centimetres. And if you fold it in half just to get it, and then you want to bring it in on the landscape to score at 1.5 inches from each end. So flip it around and do the same on the other end. Okay, so that's going to be our handle. I've got the classic label punch, which if you turn your piece around, and I do this by eye, but if you're a little bit OCD, then obviously you can measure it. You don't want to go down too far, and whilst I wouldn't recommend you using too many layers in your punches too often, for this sort of thing you can just punch through the whole thing. So we put that out the way, and you can see that's there. That is going to fit in the centre of the box to make the handle. Then, to make sure that it stays in the right place, I've got another piece that is 3 inches by 7.25 inches, or 7.1 centimetres by 18.4. I've scored it on the portrait at 1.5 inches, i.e. in the middle, so that I can fold it like so. And then I've scored 1.5 inches from each end as well. And you need to then cut up to this score line that you've put on here and flip it around and do the same on the other side, because if you then fold that in half, these two will fold back like so, and those two as well, and that will add a little stability to and also section out where each of your little cartons is going to go. But what you need to do is put a little bit of tape on here to hold that in one place. So bring that, and then these will all want some tape on. Again, I'm just going to put one piece on for speed to show you. Flip that over. And flip that one back as well. Okay, so they're all ready. We'll put that out the way for a second. We'll bring this back. This is the handle piece that we created earlier. And again, just to add a bit more stability to this, if you put a little bit, it will just keep them together when the whole thing's constructed. And a piece. You don't want to go too low with this, and then rules run out, because you're going to cut up here in a second. So just put one across there, like that. Okay, and if we take those off, and then just bring that down and close it all. We need to put a slit in here so that that strengthening arm can go through. And one of the ways that you could do this is to fold those two pieces back over. And if you then put the edge of it on 5.2 or centimetres or 2 1/16, you can then use the line that the trimmer cuts and scores down and put a little mark on. This is all going to be in the basket, so it's not really going to show. I'm using a Sharpie pen just so that you can see it, but you could use a pencil. You then turn it through 90 degrees or a right angle, and then you want to measure 1.5 inches or 3.8 centimetres and put, again, a little mark. If you look at where you've placed this one, and then come in here and just put that one there on the cutting line, and that should give you 1.5 centimetres to cut, or 3.8 centimetres. 1.5 inches, sorry, I should say. Then you want to line all of those up on the trimmer. Bring your lift it slightly, but bring your blade to here, and then you'll need to push quite firmly to just get that to go through 2 layers. Okay, and if you just check that you've got it, yeah, you can see I've got a gap, and we move that to one side, and we can bring this back. Just check that we've cut it enough. That will go through. Okay, now if we bring back our base of our box, and we'll just open up these 2 pieces here, and we'll need some tear tape along those. Just pop that on those 2 pieces. Okay, now first of all, just to make sure it all lines up, you want to just leave the backing paper on. Fold these 2 ends back and pop that into your box. And just make sure that you can then get this, that it's touching both sides. It's in the middle, like so. That's it. Okay. So then what you need to do is peel off these ones first, which again are misbehaving. And that one too. Okay. And then before you push it down, put it in, but make sure these have stayed in the right place, that where you want them. Okay, so line those up that they're in the centre, and where you want them, just lift that a little. And what you can do is bring the box back that you have already made and pop that in and make sure that it fits before you then push those down. So if you take that out of the way, you can then, because these are free, you can push them back and you can see where you've got your tape to remove them and stick them all on. And you'd stick all 4 on, so you end up with your finished box. It's all nice and secure. It's given it a little bit more strength, and it separates your little cartons that you've made. Hopefully your finished project will look something like this. This is with the new Share What You Love specialty designer paper coming to Stampin' Up, and I've also made a tag using the stitched circle framelits and the layering circle framelits to get the little scallop piece on the edge, and some new pearls. And as I said before, you can see either how it looks with bows or how it looks with jelly tots, and maybe you'll let me know black or mossy meadow which you think looks best. The tag obviously is on the other side and you can flip it around. I hope you've enjoyed my tutorial. Do leave a comment if you have, and if you like any of the products in particular, you can buy most of them at zoetant.stampinup.net. Thank you for watching.